Ever notice how ads always pop up at the worst moments? When the killer's identity is about to be revealed. During that perfect meditation flow. On Amazon Music, we believe in keeping you in the moment. That's why we've got millions of ad-free podcast episodes, so you can stay completely immersed in every story, every reveal, every breath. Download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite podcasts ad-free, included with Prime.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, S-H-O-W, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 3.
Hello, America. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. You can text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Get all the links about the show if you text the word golf to 33777. I'll send you the Golfer's Journal link and the Van Allen Golf link. I got an AI adjacent topic to talk about ultimately how awesome the United States of America is. I think sometimes we don't appreciate enough how awesome our country is. But before I get there, I want to take Mark's phone call and then move on from the AI topic. Mark, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, doing all right, Eric. How are you?
Great. What's going on?
Well, when everyone's talking about AI, one thing I think that people need to keep in mind that might make them feel a little more secure, not completely, but a little more secure, is that since AI is software, Anthropic, all the other companies, they're not giving it away. It's going to be a cost for a company. A company can't say, we're going to take these folks, we'll eliminate their jobs, we'll bring in ChatGPT, Anthropic, or whatever. There's still a cost with that, and they're going to have to weigh that cost, and it's not going to be cheap at first, if ever. It's always going to be expensive. If you ever seen the cost for enterprise software, it's pretty low. It's not going out to the store and picking up a box with Excel written on the front. It's pretty pricey stuff, for all the different types of software you need, whether it's just Excel or whether it's accounting software, whatever. If it's enterprise, it's expensive. And I think that all the AI software is going to be the same way, and that's going to be something that is going to slow down the adoption of AI until it's gotten to the point that it's going to be a pretty reasonable cost compared to actual having human employees, and that's going to slow it down some point. And maybe keep some people from actually doing it ever, just because
Mark, look, that's well said, and I wish I had thought of it. So thank you for calling in and pointing that out. There is a cost. Back in the day, you used to be able to buy like Excel and Word and the like, and just pay money for them, and you get licenses per person. Now you got to pay subscriptions. Everything is a subscription now. We're all going broke $5 at a time. My individual use of Claude is $20 a month. And if you really want the compute power, it's $100 a month. Now, extrapolate that out through a business. These things do cause expense to companies. On top of, you already have to pay if you're a lawyer, Westlaw, things like that. Those things get expensive. Now, let's talk about the expense in another way. I want to play you this story. This is a news story out of Kentucky. I want to play this video for you. I want you to, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but an AI company, we don't know which company, reached out to a farmer and wanted to buy their farm in Kentucky in order to build a data center. The farmer said no, even though it was a massive amount of money. Listen to this.
If it's my way, I'll stay and hold and feed a nation. $26 million doesn't mean anything.
Some people might find it hard to understand how Delcia Bear can turn away a $26 million offer to buy some of her land until you spend a little time with her walking the dirt road she grew up on and in the house her daddy built.
My grandfather and great-grandfather and a whole bunch of family has all lived here for years, paid taxes on it, fed a nation off of it, even raised wheat through the Depression and kept the bread lines up in the United States of America when people didn't have anything else.
Delcia is one of dozens of landowners approached by an anonymous buyer, one of the major players in artificial intelligence, likely Google or Meta or Amazon, to purchase their land. The market value for land in Mason County is about $6,000 an acre. The realtor that came to her door last April offered her and her mother about 10 times that.
They call us old stupid farmers, but we're not. We know whenever our food is disappearing, our lands are disappearing, and we don't have any water and poison, we know we've had it.
Delcia's mom, Ida Huddleston, is now 82 years old. She says she does not need the money or the hassle. She was born on this land and she plans to die here, and she certainly does not trust the promises made by the AI companies or the people who want them to build here.
So what do you say to the people who are in town that say, hey, this is going to bring jobs, this is going to bring economic prosperity?
I say they're a liar and the truth ain't in them. Is what I say. It's a scam.
For Delcia, scam or not, she says she's connected to her home like Scarlett O'Hara was in Gone with the Wind.
As long as she was attached to that land, her spirit never would die. And that's the exact same thing for me right here.
These are lower income Americans who have been offered $26 million for their land. The going rate is $6,000 an acre. They were offered $16,000 an acre. For $26 million. $26 million for their land. Now, if it was you, if it was me, I can tell you, I would take the $26 million. I would absolutely, in a heartbeat, no questions asked, take the $26 million. And they chose not to. And they live in a rather dilapidated home. And farming is hard work. Are we not the greatest country on the planet? The private property right is embedded within the foundation of our country. In fact, when you talk to the left these days, one of the things that the left hates about the United States and the structure of our constitutional system is the private property right. It is embedded within a lot of the resentment of the left. These poor farmers could overnight become very wealthy. They could get to net jets faster than I could. They could fly private to Vegas like I want to do, and I can't afford to do it. I'm kind of jealous. They're sitting on $26 million and said no to it, and I find that incredibly awesome that in this country you can be offered $26 million for your farm by an AI company, and you can say no. And there is nothing that company can do about it because The private property right is embedded fundamentally within our constitutional order. When Thomas Jefferson wrote Life, Liberty, the Pursuit of Happiness, his original draft said life, liberty, and property. And it was changed to Pursuit of Happiness, but everybody understood what it meant. The private property right is embedded within our constitutional structure, eminent domain. If the government wants to take the property, they got to pay you fair market value for it. And in some states, if you'll recall, back in the early 2000s, there was a Supreme Court decision where the Supreme Court decided that the government can take your property from you and give it to someone else that they decided would be more productive with your land. I forget now the name of the case, it escapes me, but it was a terrible case by the Supreme Court. A lot of people were shocked by the case, and states immediately amended their constitutions. And in amending their constitutions, prohibited the state from taking your property for other people's private use. You got to be able to sell your property. You got to be able to do it. My parents have a farm in rural Louisiana. It's about 200 acres of land. I'm in the process of selling the property for them. I wish an AI company would come along and offer them $26 million for their 200 acres of land. We'd take it. It's gorgeous land, and it breaks my heart. It was my grandfather's farm. It's beautiful, beautiful land, but also my parents are at an age where they could use the money, and there are others who want the land, and they don't get the use or enjoyment of the land, and the rest of us don't live around there. And it's a sad thing, but also a necessary thing when you get to that point. But it's nice to be able to have some land that can then be able to, when you convert it into the cash value of the land, take care of my parents' needs, and then perhaps have an inheritance for their grandkids that the grandkids otherwise wouldn't have. The intergenerational transfer of wealth has taken care of a lot of families in this country. There are some who don't have that benefit, but some do. But ultimately what it is that you and I, as Americans, have the right to private property, to use that property as we want, and to tell other people, no, you can't have our land, even when they offer you millions and millions of dollars for that land. And that sets the United States apart. I don't understand. I don't know that many of you understand how unique that makes the United States, because there are many countries where you purportedly own the land, but others can pressure the government to make you give up your land to them if they want it. And that's not the case in the United States. The private property right in the United States is a sacrosanct right under the American Constitution, and it's why so many people believe that the Constitution is illegitimate on the left. And there are some now on the woke right who believe the same thing, that your private property should have to go to the highest and best use. And if the highest and best use is an AI data farm, you have no right to tell them no, and they have to pay you for it, but then they get to take your land. And in this country, no, that's not how it works. So you and I can look on this poor farm family in Kentucky and say, well, this is absurd. You get $26 million. Go live your best life. Go spend it on the slots in Vegas. They're like, nope, it was their grandfather's farm. It was their father's farm. It is their farm. They raised wheat that fed a nation during the Depression. They converted a farm in Kentucky, which is not typically a farm on which you would grow wheat. You would grow cattle instead, and they grew wheat on it during the Depression because there was a food shortage in the country and the nation needed wheat, not cows, and they did it. And then they converted back to cows, and they don't want to give up their land. The grandfather built the house in which the family still lives. God bless them for that. Our nation this year will be 250 years old. Ours is not a blood and soil nation. There are some who now insist it is. Ours is a nation dedicated to the proposition that all men are equal and they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among those are life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And that pursuit of happiness has always been bound up on the idea that you can go buy some land, and on that land, do with it as you want. If you're out in the country, you get more flexibility on what you want to do. In the city, you got the planning and zoning board, and God forbid you got a historic planning society. You may buy in a neighborhood with an HOA, and the HOA may be good or bad and may restrict your enjoyment of your land in some capacity, but it's a contract right that you agreed to. You move out into the country, you buy a couple hundred acres of land, you can go shoot guns on land. I would kill for a couple hundred acres of land. We have people who drive past my house just to see if I live there. We don't live in a gated neighborhood. My wife says we need a land on which we can bury bodies. She just wants a large tract of land. One day, I hope to have it. If my career keeps going the direction it's going, a large tract of land on which to build our forever home. The fact that these people have it, and they were offered tons of money and they said no, you and I can disagree with their decision. We can look at them and say, y'all are idiots. You've just given a winning lottery ticket and you turned it down. But you know what? It's their right. It's their God-given right. And they chose the land, not the money. And I love them for doing that, even if I disagree with them. And I love that in this nation, you can say no too. You get to say no in ways that in other countries you can't say no. When the money comes calling and the pressure is brought to bear by the politicians, you can't say no in other countries. And in this country, you can. We are so unique. And I don't think we oftentimes appreciate the uniqueness of the United States and how awesome we are as a nation. And we lament and we're not allowed to brag and we're not allowed to be proud of it. We should be proud of the United States of America and the rights we have in this country, particularly the private property right. And we should be proud of these people for exercising their right, even if we disagree with the outcome, the ability that they could look a billion-dollar company in the eye and say, no, we would rather continue raising cows on our property. That's an amazing thing because that's an American thing. This episode is brought to you by Pocket Hose, the world's #1 expandable hose, and I love it. I can't speak highly enough of the Pocket Hose. Why? Because your normal old-fashioned hose that you get, and it comes in the big curled up, coiled up, it kinks, it gets knots in it. The Pocket Hose doesn't. And the Copperhead's pocket pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow. I use it around the house, use it in the backyard. It's pollen season now. I'm washing all pollen everywhere. For a limited time, my listeners can get a free pocket pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose from Pocket Hose. Just text ERIC to 64,000. That's ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, to the number 64,000, 64000 for your 2 free gifts with your purchase. ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. You really want the Pocket Hose. It's pollen season. I would be remiss if I did not note the destruction of the Floyd County Courthouse in Rome, Georgia. I have a longtime affiliate in Rome. They're one of the first stations to take a chance on me. And up in Rome, it's a beautiful, if you've never been to Rome, Georgia, it is actually a phenomenal town. I've been going there for years. I love the people. I love it. I get up to Barnsley. I'm ready to be at Barnsley Gardens right now, which is very near Rome. It's one of my favorite places on the planet to go. And the courthouse burned to the ground yesterday. It was an awful fire. The courthouse was built in 1892, I think. Romanesque revival architecture. Gorgeous. Big clock tower, and it completely engulfed in flames yesterday. Big effort underway, I think, to provide funding to get it rebuilt. The courthouse, it was a working courthouse. And there is, court is postponed. The building housed the offices and functions of the tax commissioner, the tax assessor, and the tax office. And it built in 1892, and citizens who need to pay property taxes or renew their tags, they need to do it online right now, and hopefully SPLOST funds will be made available. It's a architecturally significant, beautiful building, and just destroyed. God bless the people up in Rome. You are in my thoughts and prayers with this. It's just sad to see those pictures. I need to tell you before I go to commercial break about Swiss America. They have been warning people about a secret war on cash. and they would like to give you a copy of their report. And all you have to do is very easy to go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Sign up there. The form is there. You just fill it out. They will send you their Secret War on Cash report about how the government is trying to control your spending with money. They would prefer you to use plastic so they can control and monitor it. And also, this applies to crypto. They want to give you that report for free. But also, if you go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, you can see their news and views tabs. They have a very interesting selection of news about currency, about markets, about precious metals, and about the BRIC nations and how they are trying to shift away from America as a reserve currency. Swiss America has been trusted by this country for 40 years in the sale of precious metals. You can do a precious metals IRA with them. I bought gold coins from them. I've actually got some really cool gold coins I bought from them for investment purposes. You can go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. You talk to them about the gold coins. They are really cool. I got some from the 1800s. SwissAmerica.com/Eric. Check them out today. I am on my second house with my wife, and in both houses, we've had problems. The joys of homeownership come with the burdens of appliance breakdowns, plumbing failures, HVAC, electrical. Well, that's where HomeServe comes in. It's like a subscription for your home for as little as $4.99 a month. They got your back. Repairs hit fast and hard. You could be searching for a contractor in a panic. You could already be on the phone with HomeServe's 24/7 hotline scheduling a repair. It's super simple. You choose a plan for your needs and budget, and when something on your plan goes wrong, you call their 24/7 hotline to start the repair process. They've been helping folks for 20 years with 4.5 million customers, a 4.8 out of 5-star post-repair rating, and A+ Better Business Bureau. They're legit. So what do? Well, you go to homeserve.com, pick a plan. Many of them start for as low as $4.99 a month, and they're between $4.99 and $11.99 a month. Terms apply on covered repairs. Go to homeserve.com today. Sheridan Gorman was the student killed by an illegal alien in Chicago. She was out at night at 1:30 in the morning on Lake Michigan near her campus watching the Northern Lights with other students when the illegal alien, Jose Medina, shot and killed her. I want to play for you audio of a Chicago alderwoman who represents that area where Loyola University Chicago is. Just listen to this.
From what I've been told so far, right, from what police know, from speaking to the students who were with her, it seems she might have, that as they were just out, people go out to the beach all the time, right? And they go out on the pier, they walk around. So the kids were out doing normal things people do in the neighborhood. And it sounds like this might have been a wrong place, wrong time, running into a person who had a gun. They might have startled this person at the end of the pier unintentionally. But that's all we know. So it from what I've been told, what police investigation has turned up so far, what they've been able to share with me and with Loyola University, we don't believe there is cause for broader community concern.
Maybe she's in the wrong place at the wrong time. Listen, that's Maria Haddon is the alderwoman for Chicago. A lot of people on the right beating her up for the statement. I don't want to beat her up. I just want to note that this matter of fact, I do think you can hear sympathy in her voice, but this matter of fact, we don't really know. Maybe she's the wrong place, the wrong time. It seems to be random. No one has any reason to fear. Had they done this for deportations or for the people who were killed by Border Patrol, the American citizens, what a reversal it would be. We now know that, Jose Medina, the murderer, alleged murderer, he's had his hearing postponed for his charges of first-degree murder and aggravated use of a firearm. Why? Because he's got tuberculosis. An illegal alien came into the country with tuberculosis. That's right. He entered the country in 2023. Chicago police arrested him the same year for retail theft charges at a Macy's. He failed to appear on those charges. An arrest warrant was issued. That was 2023. 2023. ICE filed an ICE arrest detainer, hoping that Medina will be in their custody so he can be deported, but now they want him in Chicago arrested on the felony charges. But here's the thing, they otherwise wouldn't have cooperated with ICE. I wish that this Chicago alderwoman and the other members of the Chicago City Council would be outraged at an illegal alien with tuberculosis wandering the streets of Chicago since 2023. But they haven't been. The governor, 4 days after this murder, has released a statement. J.B. Pritzker, our thoughts are with the family, friends, and Loyola University community grieving the senseless murder of Sheridan Gorman. Violent crime has no place in our streets, and we expect the alleged perpetrator to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. The Trump administration needs to stop politicizing heinous tragedies and instead focus on real solutions like reinstating federal funds to prevent violence that support our public safety efforts. Wait a second. You're going to make this about Donald Trump? You turned your state, J.B. Pritzker, into a sanctuary state. The local government in Chicago turned Chicago into a sanctuary city. In 2023, when Jose Medina was arrested for shoplifting, you could have turned him over to ICE, but you have sanctuary city policy, so you kept him in the city. And by keeping him in the city, he was able to kill Sheridan Gorman. Not only that, how many people got tuberculosis because of this guy? He spread a disease, and he murdered a young woman. And you people on the left are more outraged at the president mentioning that this is all about sanctuary cities and illegal aliens than you are at Sheridan Gorman being murdered by an illegal alien. I would like to see some outrage from the American left over an illegal alien murdering an American, but the only time the left gets outraged is when the law is enforced against illegal aliens. In Atlanta, Georgia, this morning, there are ICE protesters standing outside yelling that immigrants are welcome in Atlanta and they are opposed to ICE being at the airport. Never mind that the lines at the airport are running smoothly today with ICE there to help with security. The progressives are upset about the ICE agents being present. They're not upset about the illegal aliens murdering American citizens. They're upset about those murderers being deported from the United States. They're upset about Donald Trump politicizing, quote unquote, heinous tragedies. They have politicized deportations. Again, let me play you this audio. This is from Chris Murphy with Rachel Maddow's twin sister on MSNBC last night.
The negotiation didn't have a path to citizenship. It was entirely on their terms in order to get Ukraine funding, right?
Well, I mean, Chris, that's been a failed play for 20 years. So You are right that has been the Democratic strategy for 30 years, maybe. And it has failed to deliver for the people we care about most, undocumented Americans that are in this country.
It failed to deliver for the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans. That's Chris Murphy, senator from Connecticut. They care most about the undocumented Americans. They care most about Jose Medina Not this young woman murdered by Jose Medina. The American left in the United States is more concerned for the welfare of illegal aliens, who they don't want you to call them illegal aliens, than they are for the American citizens being killed by them. Oh, statistically, they're less violent. Statistically, they're less criminal. And yet they commit crimes, and they are violent, and they would not. And our crime rate would go down if they were not here. But you people on the left do not care for them. You people on the left do not care for these Americans until the moment they're murdered. And then you're not allowed to talk about the illegal aliens being illegal aliens. No, we got to just focus on this particular incident. We're not allowed to extrapolate. Pay no attention to the number of illegal aliens who have killed people using vehicles, not knowing how to drive. Pay no attention to the man who murdered Laken Riley. Pay no attention to the man who murdered this young woman, Sheridan Gorman, in Chicago, and the fact that they are illegal aliens who came here during the Biden administration. You got Chris Murphy on television saying the people we care about most are the undocumented Americans.
Maybe, and it has failed to deliver for the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country.
The people we care about most, the undocumented Americans who are here in this country, that is a sitting United States senator who is a Democrat. This young woman is dead. It was an illegal alien who killed her, who came here during the Biden administration, who committed crimes in the United States that the left continued to give a pass to till he murdered someone. Had the Democrats cooperated, he would have been deported. He would, by the way, not even be able to spread tuberculosis in the United States. He can't actually go to court because he's still contagious. They have him in the hospital. How many people got tuberculosis from this guy? You know, the left makes a big deal out of the measles outbreak in the United States, and they blame Robert F. Kennedy for it. What they have failed to say is that the biggest outbreaks of measles in this country, by the way, I'm no fan of Robert Kennedy. I criticize him regularly, but the measles outbreak has been mostly in the communities of illegal aliens who came into this country and were not vaccinated with the MMR. We've had outbreaks of tuberculosis in the United States over the last 4 or 5 years. They have mostly been in illegal alien communities. I have got to tell you, this is one of the reasons why, as much as Americans don't like the president, they positively hate the Democrats. Going full circle, you have a senator from Connecticut saying the people we care most about are the undocumented Americans in this country, not even undocumented aliens. He's taken it a step further, from illegal aliens to undocumented Americans. Next, we're going to move to non-citizen Americans or some such. It's only a matter of time. They believe that boys can become girls and girls can become boys, that boys can be in girls' sports, and that illegal aliens are undocumented Americans, and they are the ones we care about the most. That is the Democratic position now. They have institutionalized anti-Semitism. You know, that Hassan Piker guy who literally just last week was explaining to people how you can buy the components to make bombs online, and people should. He's gone down to communist Cuba. He's now headed to Michigan to campaign with some far-left Muslim activist who's running for the United States Senate, who believes that we should have more illegal aliens in this country. These people hate the United States. They hate our system of laws. They hate our way of life. They wish to end the country as we know it. They deeply despise the private property right. They deeply despise the Second Amendment. They love the illegal aliens. They want a country by the illegal aliens, for the illegal aliens, with the illegal aliens in charge, or their protectors. the fine white progressives of America, they don't really care about this young woman who died. They don't care about Lake and Riley who died, who were murdered, both of them murdered. They are inconvenient to the narrative, and they must be dismissed. J.B. Pritzker, instead of just mourning the loss of Sheridan Gorman, pivots to attacking Donald Trump, saying we need Donald Trump to stop politicizing these tragedies. I believe they're the ones who politicized the whole situation, allowing the illegal aliens not just to stay in the country, but to demand that they not be deported from this country. This, again, was Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, the world's busiest airport in Atlanta this morning, as ICE agents were speeding up TSA. A bunch of progressives were outside holding up signs attacking the agents.
Donald Trump, let's be clear! Donald Trump, let's be clear! Immigrants are welcome here! You
got that? Donald Trump, let's be clear, immigrants are welcome here, protesting ICE. They're holding up signs saying ICE out. Conveniently, at the end of the protest, some good white woman collected all the signs from the protesters who just organically happen to show up. A lot of people with a lot of time on their hands. A lot of these people are not paid. Keep that in mind. It's a religious experience for them. The organizers are paid. The rest of them, they just know these useful idiots will show up to protest. They're protesting ICE at the airport that are helping passengers get through in a timely manner. They protest ICE deporting illegal immigrants. And now that another illegal immigrant has murdered another American, they are upset that Donald Trump would bring up the fact that they're sanctuary cities protecting the illegal aliens. These Democrats are always on the side of the illegal aliens, the undocumented Americans, the ones they care about the most. Who cares about the American citizens? I struggle to stay grounded in the Word. I am so bad about forgetting to read my Bible. I sign up for the yearly plans, and I get through a couple chapters of Genesis and Matthew and let it go beside. I'm telling on myself. That's why Glorify is around. It's the #1 Christian daily devotional app. And it's become a part of my life. It should become a part of your life as well, because like millions of others, it helps me actually stay focused in the Word. So download the Glorify app and create space every day for the Word. You can do it in the morning, on your drive into work, or in the afternoon on your way home. Listeners to the show can get full access to Glorify for just $29.99 for the entire year. It's Glorify's lowest price ever when you download the app at glorify-app.com/Eric. Feel closer to God this year with Glorify. Get full access all year for just $29.99 at glorify-app.com/Eric. Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. Markwayne Mullin has now been installed, sworn in as Secretary of Homeland Security. He now has his Twitter account up, SecMullinDHS. The President of the United States, speaking in the Oval Office just a few moments ago, had this to say.
Democrats in Congress do not care how much American blood they shed in their demented pursuit of open borders. From Sheridan Gorman to Jocelyn Nungary and Lake and Riley, their quest to flood our country with illegal aliens has left countless American victims in its wake. They never change, too. They see what's happening. They never change. That's what they want. They want to get the votes. With sanctuary and sanctuary cities going at levels that they are, and we've ended a lot. We've done a lot. But for some reason, they love it. It's a sanctuary. You know, sanctuary cities are sanctuary for, it's really a sanctuary for criminals.
Yes, sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. I just think this is yet again another issue that Republicans can honestly campaign on, given just how awful the Democratic position on it is. And I think that the Republicans should continue to point these things out, because you and I both know that the American press corps is going to do everything possible to not bring this up as best they can. It's going to require Republicans raising the issue. By the way, there is some other news I need to bring you that is hitting the wires right now. A little more breaking news to end the show. The British are saying they are committing minesweepers to the Strait of Hormuz and have notified the president they are willing to take the lead in opening the Strait of Hormuz. This comes on word of the 82nd Airborne is moving 3,000 soldiers and their command to the Middle East. It appears with a plan to seize islands in the Persian Gulf. Now, that plan would be deeply popular, particularly with the United Arab Emirates, because a number of the islands that we are looking at seizing are islands that were owned by the United Arab Emirates, but then captured by the Iranians in the 1970s during the Shah's era, and the Iranian Islamic regime promised to give them back and then never did. The United Arab Emirates would very much like their islands back. They've never lost their claim to the islands. The Iranians have stockpiled weapons and speedboats on the islands to be able to control the Strait of Hormuz. It appears we're going to go in and seize those islands. And the British and the NATO allies are now saying that they will use their naval forces to help us open the Strait of Hormuz. And, well, that's a game changer. Likewise, there is a report now from the Israelis. They believe that the Iranian missile capacity is down to about 1,000 missiles, that they have been so, destroyed, not decimated. We didn't take out 1/10 of their missiles. We've taken out almost all of their missiles, which is a good thing. And the best the Democrats or the Iranians can do is propaganda that they're winning, because they haven't folded. They're presumed to win. That's them. Now, I do wonder what will happen if the Democrats and some Republicans in Congress try to withhold funding from the military to be able to advance their campaign, which wouldn't be surprised. I think the Democrats would love to sabotage this endeavor so that Donald Trump can't get a win, and they would prop up the Islamic regime in Iran. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they do that and sabotage the effort, right as we're on the verge of wiping them out. Well, I want you to wipe out your tank of a water heater and get a tankless water heater, because that would be good for you and your family to never run out of hot water again. Go to TalkingTankless.com, learn how you can yank your tank of a water heater and get a tankless water heater from Renai. They give you hot water forever, like we have in our house. All of the fights between my kids and shower time have wiped out. I've got teenagers. And before we yanked the tank and got the tankless water heater, my kids had to negotiate with each other as if it was Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States. Well, I'm going to take a shower, and then you're going to take a shower, but your shower can only be this long because you'll use all the hot water, and we don't have those fights anymore. They can take showers and never run out of hot water. If you go to TalkingTankless.com, you can click the button and talk to a Renai professional about installing a tankless water heater and never have fights in your house about hot water again, because you'll have hot water forever with Renai's tankless water heater. TalkingTankless.com.